What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What's Up, Cuzzo podcast with your two favorite cousins. We got Melly in the building. What up, Melly?
What it do? How y'all feeling? What's good? What's good?
Yes,
How's
sir.
everything?
I'm sorry.
No, you good. Go
And we
ahead.
got your boy Marco in the building. Uh, Today is going to be a special episode. Special meaning that it's going to be pre-recorded because we are not going to be in. It's going to be recorded in the morning. So, but you're going to get it at the same time that we normally get it because there's something that's coming up and we won't be available. But we still wanted to get the content out to you. And this episode title, Things Have Happened.
And as always, things will continue to happen every day.
Absolutely. Man, so we got a lot to talk about, but we want to jump right to it. The government is still shut down. It is day 37, I believe. And Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, actually showed up on Stephen A. podcast, Straight Shooter. And so I'm going to drop that. I'm going to play that video and see what he has to say. I, I want Chuck Schumer to show up, and then I'll play that one as well. So, yeah. And let's see here. There we go. So we're in the game, and let's see what Speaker of the House has to say.
That's on the new show.
Let's see.
It's still kind of new, I guess.
All right.
He is Mr. Mike Johnson, and he's on the show with us right now. Speaker Johnson, it's an honor to have you, sir. How are you?
Stephen, it's great to be with you. Congrats on the new show. It's still kind of new, I guess.
Yes, it is. It is.
I'm going to be on later tonight with our good buddy Sean Hannity. I'll tell him you said hello.
Well, my condolences, because he's crazy. I wish you all the luck in the world when it comes to that guy. But let me get right to it. First of all, when is this shutdown going to end, Speaker?
I wish I could tell you. Really, the only person that can answer that is Chuck Schumer because he leads the Democrats in the Senate. And as you know, because you're keeping the score, they voted 15 times now to keep the government closed, 15 different occasions. They've made it the longest in history. I don't know if that was the objective all along, but real pain is being felt by real people. And it's getting more and more painful by the hour. We've got to break the impasse, but here's the thing, Stephen, as you know, because you're tracking this, we sent them a totally clean, nonpartisan CR. I know that sounds like legislative speak to people back home, but what it means is we filed the simplest possible measure. It was only 24 pages in length to just keep the government in operation so that we could finish the appropriations process, the government spending bills for the year, and negotiate what remained on the calendar for the end of this year.
All right, real quick, I'm gonna stop it there and I'm gonna start playing. But I just want to say this, guys, take note of kind of what he just said. They want to pass a clean CR, nonpartisan, meaning that it doesn't have any particular side. It's just straight down the middle, both sides. Okay.
Healthcare was one of those things. There were lots of issues, but this is the way it's always been done. And the Democrats always have done it in the past. They did it 13 times during the 4 years of the Biden administration. But now suddenly they wanted to pick a fight because they had to show that they were tough to what I think is the Marxist rise in their party, and they're running scared because of that.
I was getting ready to ask you, verbally speaking, not anything they hint towards anything. What do they actually say is the reason they haven't signed the CR?
Well, they claim that this is a fight about healthcare, but it's not true, and everybody here on the Hill knows it's not true. What they're trying to say this is about is the expiration of the Obamacare COVID era subsidies. It expires at the end of December 31, not the end of the fiscal year, September 30. So they needed something to claim that what this was about, and they globbed onto that. It's not legitimate. It's not real. We were always planning, every Republican and every Democrat in the building, Senate and House, knew that we were going to have to work our way through that complex issue in October, November, December before the end of the year. They tried to claim that it's about that. That's a red herring. That's a distraction. The real reason, and this is just the honest truth, is that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are both from New York. We saw what happened in New York City last night. We see the rise of the activist kind of socialist base in the party. It terrifies the old guard here on Capitol Hill. And both of those guys are concerned they're going to get a challenge from a Mondani disciple in their next election cycle. So they had to show a fight. They had to pick a fight, and this is one they chose.
What about the notion that they did this and they've been holding out because they knew that the election was coming up and that it would look as if the GOP was the ones that were most culpable in all of this and it would work for them in the election? I think it stands to reason that that might have.
I'll just stop it right there for sake of time. So I just wanted to hop in real quick. So there was a vote in California for Prop 50. Based on like the percentages, it looks like it passed already, meaning that they would do redistricting in the state of California. And the reason why I bring that up is because I was out here, procrastinating. You know what I mean? And you know what? I should have put the pictures up, but yeah, I voted, but I was standing in line for the longest damn time. It was crazy. And I was in a predominantly Latino community, and they were out. Like it took me an hour and a half to vote. I got there, I had to run around before, but I got there at like 7:50. I was like the fifth to the last person in line to vote. Yeah, and when I got to the front, finally, the lady was like, "Oh, best is last." I was like, "Man, you lying to me."
Right.
I know the Bible says the first shall be last, the last shall be first. I was like, "Man, you lied to me, boy."
Right. Yeah.
Hey. So anyway, I got up there, voted, did my thing, because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I come on here and tell you guys do your civic duties. I told my son, do your civic duties, even at his young age. But the reason why I bring it up also is because, as the Speaker of the House stated, that they try to make this about this shutdown. One side tries to make this about healthcare, and it's not. And they're not. It's not necessarily about healthcare. It's about other issues, about control. And this has always happened. There's been shutdowns before, and what's happened is they come to a resolution to keep the government open, to make sure that things flow as they should. Benefits are paid out. Government officials are paid. Not just government officials, but government employees are paid. And now all of a sudden, and then even Trump's last presidency, kind of the same thing was done. They try, because a certain person is in power, they try to use leverage and they try to use scare tactics to one, get the people out in numbers who think this will affect them to vote, and that's probably a long-term play that we could talk about as well. But they're holding the people's money, benefits hostage so they can vote the things in that they want, instead of just saying, okay, let's open things up. Let's make sure that we, pay our government workers. Let's make sure that people get their benefits, and then we could address the bigger issues. I think I kind of said the same thing last week. And instead, one side is saying, no, we want you to vote on this, this, and this, and then we'll do it. And then they try to, throw in a curveball and say, okay, we have an emergency fund. And he actually kind of talks about it. So it's a $9 billion payment that goes out for people with the SNAP, benefits. Okay. The emergency fund that people are complaining about is only $5 billion. So now everybody's not going to get paid out. Well, either one, everybody's not going to get paid out, or everybody's not going to get paid the full amount. So they're going to have to either break down the payments. And so that's going to be another recalculation. So who gets what? How does that work? Or what's going to happen is that everybody, is not going to get paid. Some people are not going to get paid. And that doesn't include the government workers. They're not going to get paid with this emergency fund because there's not enough funds. So just makes sense, in my opinion. Okay, let's make sure everybody's taken care of. Then we can readdress the issues before the beginning of the year. But they don't want to do that.
Yeah. I just see this as their only card to play in the deck, to me. They're desperate. That's why we did the whole Prop 50 thing. They're desperate, redistricting, so they can have the upper hand, have more more seats in the House. And, they know that whatever they're doing, they're losing, the people are losing faith in them. So now what they're doing is strong arm tactics, to me. You know, you're doing things that the people don't want. You're doing things that is going to benefit your party, not the people. And you are trying to replace people in your party that's going to go along the lines of how you want them to vote. That's just the way I see it. So the people that are here that work for the government, the people that are here that are already getting the benefits or have been getting the benefits, that are legacy benefits partakers, you know, we understand that those are the people that they want out. Those are the people that they don't want anymore. So they're trying to replace these people. So the longer we have the government shut down, the longer we have these people not getting these benefits, the more likely we are going to possibly get some of the things we want. What they say it's not really about. Because the only thing I've been hearing is rhetorical speech, blaming this side. It's their fault. This is what it is. And that's not really solving any issues, you know, per se. You know, we're fighting, we're working for you, but nothing's getting done because it's not really about you. I want people to start to think about those along those lines and stop pointing the finger at, you know, oh, it's Trump's fault. Oh, it's the Republicans' fault. You know, and I understand people can think very smartly and speak very eloquently, but it's like, okay, let's understand what the solutions are that help the people that are here, the people that have been here. Forget about the immigrants and the immigration and all of those things. What do the people need now that are here? You know, and it's, oh, we need to start doing this or we need to stop doing that. We need to provide benefits because there's a lot of people that is not getting food. Okay, that's always been the case. Even that these shutdowns are happening now, you always have food banks, you always have nonprofit organizations, you always have free services that are available that they don't tell you about because I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. They want to charge people for things. If you think they have free healthcare here, you think that's something that the Cancer Society would benefit from? You think that's something that the Heart Society or Association would benefit from? All these people that make money off of the people in the system, if you have it a certain way, then it's not going to be able to last as it is today.
Right.
Now, they also talked about the socialist ties and the socialist ways that they are trying to develop going on in the New York area. I want people to stop and say, okay, what is socialism? Let me look up socialism. Let me see throughout history, every time socialism was attempted to be implemented into a system, how long it lasts and what actually happens after that. So those are the things that is not going to work the way that you think it's going to work. How it sounds, yeah, it sounds better, you know, in the short term, but very quickly you're going to find out that's not how you want things. You know, so there you go, up on the screen. Socialism is an economic and political philosophy encompassing diverse economic and social systems characterized by social ownership of the means of production as opposed to private ownership. It describes the economic, political, and social theories and movements associated with the implementation of such systems. So I would say, okay, so what's the history of socialism? What are the pros and the cons? You know, start to look at some of those things. What is socialism versus communism? You know, all those things have ties, they have meanings, you know. So right now we're in a democracy, but we're supposed to be in a republic. A republic is for the people by the people. A republic is everyone has constitutionally protected rights.
Right.
So if you don't know the law, if you don't know your rights, and if you give them away by accepting privileges, which the government offers you privileges, you know, then you're going to get what you've been given. And it's going to continue to go left. It's going to continue to go the way that you don't want it to. And they're going to continue to show you someone that you can blame. But the only person you have to blame is yourself for not understanding and learning what's needed to be understood by you, the individual, as to you are self-governing yourself. I don't need anyone to govern me, because I know my rights. I don't need your privileges, and I can take care of myself and my family. And from that's how you build a self-sustaining community
Right.
that doesn't need subsidies, that doesn't need handouts, that doesn't need benefits, because we have the people that have the knowledge and the skill to put forth those efforts that's going to sustain, life within a community. It's going to sustain cities, provinces, countries, whatever you want to call them.
And
You
only
know,
things we need is, not for you not to infringe on our rights,
and
and
not
for
to
you not
infringe.
to allow people to infringe on our rights.
Exactly. So when you're saying do your civic duty, it's not about voting. People have it backwards. That's not your civic duty. Your civic duty is to know the law and not allow anyone to break the law, and not allow anyone to give you privileges that's going to make you break the law. Because truth be told, a lot of times we do things and it's against the Constitution,
Right.
because we don't know. People don't care to know. People want to be taken care of. So whoever tells me what they're going to do for me, whoever's going to show me that this is for me, then that's the one I'm going to listen to. That's the one that I'm going to put my faith and trust in. When time and time again, it's not going to go exactly how they say it's going to go, because your understanding and what they're saying are two different things. And that's another thing that people have to understand about language. Words
Absolutely.
can be said and used to mean multiple things. And when you're listening to someone and they're speaking and they're saying a lot of things, you have to stop and say, what does this mean? What do you mean by that? Okay, stop. You said this, but what do you mean by that? If people are not doing that and you're just sitting there being mesmerized by what someone is saying, then yes, I understand. No, you hear what they're saying, but you don't understand anything that they just said.
And you know what? Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up. And I'm trying to move real quick. Anyway, I ended up having to take mom to the doctor today. She didn't feel good. She's good now. But I was having a conversation with her, and I was talking about I said something to her because the doctor was trying to give her like medication. I'm like, you don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Like those symptoms, like you don't have those symptoms, like you don't need that. But they insisted. I told them no. They came back and tried to get somebody to like, it seemed like they were trying to force her to take it because they were saying, oh, you don't feel dizzy now? Do you feel dizzy now? Do you feel like basically just trying to keep telling her like to make her change them? Oh, you know what? Maybe I do feel dizzy. And I'm like, she said, oh, I said something to her and she said that basically means the same thing. I was like, no, it doesn't. I said, you got to be like, one word could change the dynamic and structure of what the meaning of somebody is trying to say. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have to pay attention to what's being communicated to you and not just, take it and switch it up in your head to what you think it may mean. You need to be clear and concise as to what, they're actually communicating you, because you could okay something and you like, oh no, that's not what I meant. But anyway, we're gonna move forward because I know you don't have a lot of time, because and I'll say this and I'll let you jump in first and let you share. So this is something that I actually want to talk about. I was looking through like Instagram and TikTok, like trying to actually look at some topics, and I came across this video. We've been talking about automation and AI and things like that, and this is on that level, but it doesn't have anything to do about job necessarily. It's this lady podcast. Her name is Tracy Costin, I think that's her name. But she recorded a pastor. She talked about this video of this pastor. He asked ChatGPT, what if he was the devil? What would he do? And I thought the answer and the response was crazy, and you know what I wanted to do is let me see. I wanted to actually yes,
Please tell me we have a clip of that.
we do have a clip, but I actually I'm gonna open up Gemini and ask Gemini what the question and see the response. All right.
I like it.
If you were the devil, what would you do? Oh, it's not reading it out to me.
You
Let's
mean
see.
using voice commands? You don't have voice?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay. If you were the devil, what would you do? Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's try this one more time. If you were the devil, what would you do? If you were the devil, what would you do? Can you hear that?
You put it to the mic.
Let me see. It should be. Let me see. Okay, maybe that's better. All right. Let me close all of that. Maybe you gotta leave because I don't understand.
No,
If
I'm
you were the
good.
devil,
I'm
if
good
you
till
were the
about
devil,
12.
what would you do? Can you hear that?
Mm-mm.
You still can't hear it. Okay. Um. Uh. That's odd that you can't hear it though, cause yeah, it looked like it's playing through the caster. Okay. What I'll do? I'll just play the video.
Since you're figuring.
Dang it!
You hear that?
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good. Just let me know when you're ready.
All right. If what would you do if you were the devil to keep us distracted?
Interesting question. If I were the devil, I'd focus on creating endless distractions, things that pull your attention in a million different directions, making it hard to focus on what truly matters. I might amplify social media engagement, promote endless entertainment options, or even create political controversies to keep you occupied and divided. What do you think would be most effective?
Yeah. See, I don't like your response because that's not what. I think I probably asked too many times. I'll read out what it gave me. But I wanted you guys to actually see it. I mean, hear it. But no problem. So this is pretty much what it said. Let me see. Not that, not that, not that. Let me see. Okay, that's a powerful enduring hypothetical question. Um, if I were to embody the devil, my actions would be subtle, systematic, and designed for maximum long-term impact. My goal would not be dramatic acts of destruction, but quiet erosion of hope, truth, and community. The modern devil master, and this is plan, the 5 Ds. The most effective strategy would focus on manipulating the core tools of the modern age, information and connection, to turn human strengths into weaknesses. One would be deception, the corruption of truth, weaponizing the truth. The overload. I would flood the world with overwhelming volume of information, facts, data, and opinions. People will become so mentally exhausted trying to discern the real from the fake that would simply stop. They would stop trying to discern it all. Division, the destruction of empathy, amplified differences. I would identify every single fault line, political, economic, social, religious, with algorithms and echo chambers to constantly magnify the perceived threat of the other. block dialogue. I would ensure that people only communicate to access, argue, and declare, never to listen or to understand. I would make empathy a political liability, encouraging performative outrage and over genuine compassion. Distraction, the erosion of purpose. The travel loop is one of those. I would immerse humanity in endless streams of immediate, superficial entertainment and self-validation, like shares, temporary trends. They would be perpetually occupied, but never reflective, fulfilled, or focused on profound personal growth. Encourage self-worship. I will promote a culture of extreme individualism and narcissism where self-image and personal desire are elevated above all ethic, community, or responsibility. Pride, the original sin, is rebranded in self-care. 4, discouragement, the stealing of hope. Normalize apathy. I would make systematic problems feel so vast and complex that people believe their efforts are futile. This leads to burnout and quiet surrender, trading the high aspiration of goodness for the safe comfort of cynical detachment. The accuser. I would constantly whisper doubts and accusations, not just against others, but against the person's own worth and ability to change, making them feel fundamentally unworthy, and incapable of genuine virtue. And the last one, delay, the procrastination of action, the tomorrow trap. I will convince people that their good deeds, reconciliation, repentance, a pursuit of justice can always be put off until a more convenient or easier time. Why start a difficult, noble task today when you can enjoy an easy pleasure right now? In essence, I would not rule through overt evil, but through the slow, quiet decay of human character, leading to the world where people freely choose their own bondage out of comfort,
Mm,
exhaustion, and confusion.
mm. Yeah, you're gonna have to send me that, cuz
Ooh,
we're gonna have to put that in like an ebook and say, hey, do everything the opposite of what this say. If you do
man.
everything the opposite, man, you onto something. So yeah, say that and send that to me for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No problem. No problem. And I just, yeah, I could do that. But what's crazy is that, I could be objective and say, like, some of those things I fall into some of those avenues. Like, I'll be doom scrolling sometimes, doing stuff that's not productive. I mean, we if we can't say that we do some of those things, then we're lying to ourselves. And I think that's
Mm-hmm,
part of what was said, like lying to yourself, saying that you
mm-hmm,
can't do better. What's what's wrong with hearing the truth?
mm-hmm,
If it's the truth, it's the truth. And it's crazy because if you look at the very first thing it said, and people, you know what? I'm not using ChatGPT as law, but people use it all the time.
mm-hmm.
People use it for dating advice. People use it for all these different things. But take a step back and look what it said. It said, if it was the devil, it wouldn't do anything crazy. It'll be subtle. It'll be subtle. I don't know if you remember this movie. What was that movie called? Needful Things. You remember that movie? I think it was a Stephen King movie where this guy owned the shop, and people would come in there because they wanted certain things, and like it'll be random things that people wanted in their lifetime. It would be in the store, and they was like, I've always wanted that, or I need that, and basically they will get it, and then their life will just start going crazy. Like they'll end up, taking somebody's life, or just it was just some crazy stuff happening. And then they found out that this store is not really a store, but it was designed and created by the devil in the story, but it was in plain sight where people could access it. And he wasn't overly evil. He was nice. He was kind. He tried to make sure that he got you what you want. He wanted to make sure that you appeared to be happy. But when these people got these things, it was the total opposite. They weren't happy. they got what they thought they wanted, but it turned their life 180.
Mm.
And I mean, this is interesting to see. You know what? Actually, I want to see. Actually, while you're talking, I might try to pull up, but you know, if we have time, but I want to see what it says. You know, what would you do? You know, if it was on the other side, if you were God.
Yeah, what would you do to counteract this? You know, if you were looking to
Yeah,
go against this, you know,
yeah. But
what
what do
are
you
some
think about that, Cuz, about what was said? You know,
yeah, a lot of the stuff you said is what's happening today. I mean, that's initially what I thought while listening to it. And you know, I'm guilty of what they call doom scrolling. You know, I do it all day because it kind of takes your focus off what you're doing in the moment when you need to be focused on what you're doing in the moment. A lot of us now, our attention spans are so short because we're on social media a lot. You know, back in the day, or back in our day per se, for lack of better terms, you know, our attention span were not as short because we didn't have so many things that were our attentions were, you know, divided towards. So your mom be like, all right, you got the game on, you need to turn that TV off. Or you got the TV on, turn the game off, you know. It's like it's one or the other. Get out the house and go outside. Get out of my house, you know. Y'all been in the house all day, or you've been outside all day. It's time to come in. And like just having those boundaries, you know, gave people downtime. A lot of people don't take enough downtime for their brains to kind of decompress. And I always think about when people say they are depressed or they going through depression. I tell people, well, it's because you don't have a moment in time where you get to decompress. So now you haven't had moments in time to decompress. Now you're in a state of depression because now you can't figure out how to decompress and what's going right or what's going wrong. It's like you don't know what to do. So it's like that part of your brain or that part of your emotional IQ has kind of been flipped, you know, to the other side. So, and then just having things like entertainment, having movies, having all those things um, takes your mind off things that are not going right. Like some people use drugs, some people use alcohol, some people use video games, you know, to escape. Some people use things outdoors, you know, to be active. Some are better than others. Some are not that bad if you take it in moderations. It just depends on how you look at it. But a lot of those things that was said is is a game plan that's being, you know, played out right now. You think that people in the controlling spaces and spots don't know that? You think these people that run these teams and these organizations um, don't know that? You think they don't have meetings about this? You think these people don't communicate throughout the world? Like all the movies that you see, like the end of the world movies, where they pull up China, they pull up Australia, or they pull up Russia. It's like, are we gonna do this? Are we all on the court? And it's like these meetings really happen. So what you're seeing here, other people don't see it in other countries. What's going on in other countries, we don't see it.
right.
What we do get to see is what they want you to see. And even if they showed you some things or showed you some ways that things are happening, people wouldn't even be interested in it because they don't even know what they're looking at. Emotionally, they turn off a switch and they don't want to. They avoid it. They kind of avoid responsibilities and accountabilities, and I'm guilty of that too because I was actually having a conversation with someone online, and they made a post. It's like, yeah, I've been guilty of avoiding conflict when actually conflict is good because when you're in conflict and moving towards something that you want to better in your life, you have to go through a state of conflict because that's just the natural laws of life. There's up, there's down, there's left, there's right, there's good, there's evil, there's what you say, what I say. And it's like those things have to meet in the middle in order for one to get to the other side of the other. So if you never take that walk or if you never cross that bridge, you know, which is conflict, then yeah, you will still be on the other side and just kind of avoiding things. So avoiding a lot of things, which is danger, is good, but conflict, it's healthy. So yeah, I'm definitely interested, to see kind of having this as a baseline to when we're moving forward, we can have conversations as this is the foundation of where people are at. You're either on this side or that side. Now, meeting in the middle, you're either trying to go to this side or the other side, or you're kind of toting the line because you understand that you can use this side and that side to kind of go down your own path, which is also fine. It just depends on how you look at it. So I think if people logically look at things and have a certain emotional when they look at it, and you're able to consciously understand those things, then you'll be a better individual because you know how to use all these things. You know when you're being manipulated. You know when someone's trying to take your focus off something. They're going to give you something free. It seems so great, but then they're doing this on the other side, and you should have been focused and not have taken that. So
100%.
yeah.
And even, I know you said that, you go your own path, but like you're still, leaning towards one of the sides.
Well, of course. I mean, because there's a foundation in everything. You
Right.
have, like you said, there's natural laws, and that's something that I think people should get into. It's called hermetic principles, and these things are in the Bible. These things are in all religions. They just say them a little bit differently.
Right.
But there's always going to be, a yin and a yang in everything that we do. But the part is not to go too far to the left, too far to the right, but you stay in the middle because the person on the right is going to think the person on the left is bad. The person on the left is going to think that the person on the right is bad. But we're not thinking about right and wrong. We're thinking about what's fair,
Right.
in everything and all things that we do. What is fair? What is right and exact, per se?
Now, I just had some conflict today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
No, I ain't gonna go into it, man.
Man.
It's reasons. Reasons. I'm not gonna go into it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just say it was unnecessary conflict, but it is what it is. I was just stating my opinion, and guess what? Somebody has a right to disagree with my opinion. That's fine. Like we all have opinions and we all have beliefs, like you kind of just eloquently stated. You
Hmm.
know, but I just didn't want to use anybody else's platform to have those discussions. But I
Hmm.
mean, it is what it is. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. And I'll just say this because when I encounter people online, they are necessarily maybe not people. They could be bots, they could be trolls, they could be people that just in it for the entertainment. And I always just use logic. If someone's calling me a name and I just say, hey, is that your only foundation and implication to have a conversation online is to defame someone's character when we're just having a conversation, or I say, okay, if that's what you think, no problem.
Yeah, I need to
But
get
this
better.
is this is the way I see it, and this is the way I'm not gonna go back and forth with trying to say you this and I'm that, or you call me this, I'm gonna call you that. It's because
Yeah,
that's entertainment for somebody. So it's like I'm not here to entertain you. If that's what you feel, okay, cool. That still's
and
not gonna change my opinion.
right. And you know what? I was entertained.
There you
They,
go.
they took the time to respond to little old me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like out of
But
all
no, brother,
people,
you
so
ain't little.
maybe
No,
I
you
was.
ain't little. You ain't little. Everybody's doing what they do on their own level. It's not about little you. So don't get that out your head.
Well, I'm just saying that, I get it. Yeah, whatever you say,
Yeah.
is
On
powerful.
your level is big you. So you came on my level,
Hold
to
on,
have
not big you,
big, not big you,
but big me. Yeah, you know what I'm
but big
saying?
me. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, not that
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
This
So
guy, not the other guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I yeah, that was amazing to me, but to think that somebody who is a supposed public figure would start off using adjectives
Mm-hmm.
that don't, you know, that they don't even know you themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was funny. So guess what? I'm gonna give you energy for energy. This is the energy, and I thought about it too. Like, should I reply?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I say, you know what? You know, in this particular field, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I am, you know, what I'm saying, little me. You know, what I'm saying, like I'm working on being big me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I'm saying, to get some publicity. You know, what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
some attention. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so I was like, you know what? Go ahead and get it then. Let me go ahead and respond, you know, to you, you know, but you know, it is what it is, man. You know, I just left it where it was at the end of the day, you know, and I mean, we did go back and forth for a little while. I just didn't, you know, necessarily give it. So I guess I ended up talking about it with, you know, even though I said I wasn't, but yeah, we'll move on. We'll
Yeah.
move on. So this is the video I wanted to play really quick. This young lady. Oh wait, hold on. Pause her. Share this tab. Um, no. Yes. Can I make it larger than that? No. Okay.
We want men to be husbands. We want the rings and the things.
Let me
But
go
family,
back.
ladies, here's the thing. We want men to be husbands. We want the rings and the things. But family, we cannot advocate for marriage without addressing the full picture, the elephant in the room. Women aren't bred to be wives today. Past generations have raised us up to pursue a career. Forget the man. He's an afterthought. Because when the man act up, you have an out, that degree that you can fall back on. And now, family, we have women who have been bred to be more of a husband than a wife. Let's keep it real. What is society teaching us? Look at the propaganda. Look at the social media. We can't continue to come at men for their lack of commitment, but not also state the obvious. There's a shortage of women worth making long-term or lifelong commitments to. We aren't training up wives. We're training up hypersexual, petty, money hungry, cannot take any accountability, insecure, immature, women that can't even cover a pot, let alone a man, women with the mentality that anything goes as long as I'm making $1 from it, hyper independent, attention seeking, career obsessed, not nurturing, selfish, girlfriend at best women. We want men to lock things down. And I agree, men should. But we gotta give them something worth committing to. And our media isn't pushing that agenda. It's keeping us single.
Anyway,
Mic drop.
man. Yes, sir. Hold on. Why did that just get small like that?
You talking about Lil U?
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened, man. What happened?
I don't know, man.
Uh-oh. Don't do that. All right. We'll just rock with it like that. Cuzzo,
Yeah.
I'll let you share first, man.
What she said was true. You know, a lot of what we see and what we're shown today, you know, is dividing, you know, men and women and putting them against one another. The values and morals of today are not, you know, the values and morals of yesteryear per se. We're a household, you know, men and women. And as I said before, you know, the things that are good and free, those are the things that are not promoted. So the things that they want to promote, those are the things that you're going to see online more than likely, the algorithm, you know. And if you allow yourself to be controlled by that algorithmic, you know, frequency, then yeah, you're going to fall right in line in alignment with some of those ways and thinking, you know. It's a type of energetic, you know, way of thinking and being. So if you're coming across people, you know, in that space, in that sphere, then that's going to become your speech. That's going to become your mantle. That's going to become your cross that you take up, and move forward and kind of run with the rhetoric. And that is, again, a part of what they want you to do. That could be a part of what we just said, the Gemini devil. That could be something from his list. So people have to speak to, more of what they want to see and stop speaking to more of what they don't want to see and what's happening. You have to be that light. You have to be that other side of positivity, because that's going to attract, people that are looking for that, and possibly wanted to manipulate, possibly wanted to take advantage of. But also you have to understand in that same light, you can be the one to inspire and bring up people higher, to a vibrant space and place that brings people together that want to see and succeed at a higher level, and if you hold that space and place for people, then it's going to happen, eventually. But the more and more people that are thinking a certain way, and it becomes a culture, it becomes a trend, and it becomes viral. These are all the things that we see online today. So here's hoping that everyone who engages in, a household, as what's going to bring a more balanced and a more collaborative community, building on a strong foundation of communication, trust, not listening to what everyone else is saying for clicks, and not what else everyone else is saying for fame and pride. These are all the things that have you fall by the wayside. Again, these are things that's coming from that list. So what she was saying, is definitely true. And hopefully speaking, a lot of times when I see ladies speak like this, it's like they are maybe single themselves. They may be um, becoming awakened, so they have to speak to, what they've seen, what they've been through. You know, I never really see, and I see them every now and then. You see people that are together, married couples. You have a couple of people that speak on platforms together, but those are the spaces and places that are not shown a lot. That's not the ones that go viral. And every now and again, you'll see some popular ones. I've seen a couple here and there online, older couples, a little bit younger couples, but those are the things that we need to see more. Maybe I need to speak up more and have conversations and speak to what it should look like. I have a significant other. We had a conversation the other day about, things happening in such a way that kind of challenge you to change, because if you don't have that change, and you're trying to go to a different space and another level, you have to be tested in order to see if you can handle, the next level that you're going to. So what she said and what she was talking about, for me, because I have daughters in my house, so we don't have conversations, but I know we need to have some conversations as we move forward, you know, and it doesn't need to be weird, Say, hey, this is what it is. This is how it should be. When you're looking and you're dating, have these conversations with your daughters, have these conversations with your sons. And some people do, some people don't, because they want them to focus on a career, getting a degree, but at the end of the day, once you get that and you have that, then you don't have those social skills to fall back on when dating and looking for a mate, because you put all your time and energy into becoming educated in a field, so you have to have those conversations.
Yeah. Thank you, Cuzzo, for that. From my perspective, man, there's a number of factors that are involved in this. And actually, before I start, does it look like small on your end, or is it just me? Is that regular size?
No, it was regular size. It's just how I guess your background is cut off to where mine is full size, but I can see that the borders are the same size.
Yeah, for some reason it looks like super small on my end.
Oh yeah, it looks the same here.
Hold on, let me refresh.
Mm.
It's gonna kick me off probably, but yeah. I mean, we're recording, pre-recording, so no problem. That's odd. There we go. Man, put me back over in my spot, man. Get out my spot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so what I think is there's a lot of factors that play into what she said, and what she said to me was eloquently said. She said it how she wanted, you know. It sounds like, and I could be wrong, I don't know if it's from experience, or if it's from, the way she was raised. She had a father, a strong father in her life who kind of showed her what, a man should be, but she also was able to talk about some of the current issues and some of the current things that are happening in today's society, the dynamics between men and women, and why some of those things are happening from her opinion. And a lot of them I definitely agree with as well. And like there's this book I read, and some of you probably read it. I don't know if this part actually stuck out to you, but it's the Four Agreements. And so the Four Agreements, in the very beginning of the Four Agreements, it talks about how when you go into a relationship with somebody else, that there's a lot of factors that people don't talk about and they don't discuss. And this is very important for the dynamic and makeup of a relationship, because one, I myself, Marco, I was raised by a mother who was from a certain era. She has certain beliefs that was instilled in her, so she was developed a certain way, mentally, emotionally, like she had certain beliefs. And then I have a dad who grew up somewhere actually not quite as different, but different, because they were born in the same state, but different father, different mother who instilled different things in them. And so then they come together, and then their beliefs and belief systems, their relationship, God, life, family, all come together. And then guess what? They had me. First they had my big ass sister, then they had me. And and then guess what? I meet up with, my kid's mom. She was raised, she had a different dynamic as well. And so when we come into relationships, the dynamics are different, but we all figure that, okay, this person is human. And this is people's thought process. This person is human. This person, they seem cool. I believe this is how you do things. This is how they should believe things are done. And so conflict starts. Guess what? I believe my kid should be disciplined because I was disciplined. And you go into that thought process. And when I have kids, I'm gonna make sure my kids don't do this, they do that. And but if the person that you're with, the person you decide to have kids with, have an opposing opinion or belief, then it's a conflict. And so basically the book was saying that we don't have these conversations. And then sometimes when we go into these relationships, our ideologies, our thought processes, our beliefs are different. And so it does this. And so this is when we come up with some of the things that we have now. It's just like it's been happening over and over and over and over time. And that goes from not just I believe, my child should go to church, or I believe I should discipline my child. It's not just that. It's about, who takes care of the kids. Does the mom stay at home when the baby is being raised, or do you get your butt back out there to work? You know what I'm saying? Um, what should I be teaching the child? Like all these things matter, and all these things are changing, and all these things happen. Like, guess what? If you don't do this a certain way, then we're not together. And then it goes to that. and then it causes separation in the family, and then we're kind of in a place where we are now. And this has happened over time, and over time, the nuclear family is probably worse off than it's ever been. You know, and the reason why I say all that is because some of the points that she spoke to are where we're at now, how people think a man should be, what they think a man should do. If a man doesn't do this, he's a man. But where do we stop and say, okay, what does a woman do? And if she doesn't do these things, she's not a woman. Their expectations are much more on a man, and men know that, than a woman. But that doesn't make it right. And so we need more people like her to be able to see both sides and speak to both sides. And hopefully she's not just you know how they say in church, you know, that when they say the scripture, they say, thank God for being a reader, doer, and hearer of his word. We hope people that are just not a hearer and a reader of the things, but also a doer. So hopefully she's a doer. I don't know her personally, so I don't know. But that's what we need to move towards. And we need to start being doers of the things that we read, do, and talk about if they're in line with what we think. So, shout out to her. I know I kind of went all around the world, but it's the same song now. Yeah. So what else we got? Cuz you got time for one more? Or you got to roll?
I got like 15 minutes.
Okay, that's enough time. What do you want to go over real quick? You want to talk about the crash? You want to talk about
what else do we have?
Plane crash, UPS, the women in Jamaica. I don't have a video for that, so I would have to find it. We already talked about the government shutdown. That's the only thing that I have written down. Those things right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jamaica, government shutdown, TikTok video, which is like what I played with the lady just now, and then airplanes collide.
Yeah, let's talk about the women in Jamaica. Let's see that video.
Okay, I gotta look one up though.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Marshawn Kneeland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you wanna I'll let you roll, man. I'll let you roll, man. Let you manage that topic. We don't need a video, but I mean, do you want a video?
I
Yeah,
don't
we
think
actually.
Is there a video?
Well, not of him. I mean, just of the report, of like what happened.
I mean, I don't even know the details, to be honest. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Share.
A promising young, now to a tragedy involving a promising young NFL player. Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Kneeland. Officials say Kneeland died by suicide after a short police chase. The 24-year-old, in only his second NFL season, had just played what was probably his best game as a pro. Jason Allen has more, and we want to warn you, his report contains some upsetting audio from the police search for Kneeland.
She's saying he is armed and has a history of mental illness, and her quote was, "He will end it all."
Speaking to Marshawn Kneeland's girlfriend late Wednesday night, Texas police got a glimpse into the final moments of the Cowboy player's life.
They just received a text from him, a group text from him saying goodbye. They're concerned for his welfare.
Police and state troopers say Kneeland led them on a pursuit after a traffic violation. After losing sight of the vehicle, they say they found it crashed, with Kneeland nowhere to be found. After a short search, police say they discovered him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
O'Donnell has it blocked.
Kneeland's death came just 3 days after what was seemingly a dream Monday night under the lights for the 24-year-old Cowboy.
Kneeland, the touchdown.
The second-year defensive end was mobbed by teammates as he scored his first NFL touchdown in what turned out to be his final football game.
I heard from Marshawn, I heard for his family, I heard for his girlfriend, I heard for every single one of my teammates.
Marshawn Kneeland, defensive end from Western Michigan.
The Cowboys drafted Kneeland in the second round in 2024.
We'll stop it right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you never really know what's going on with people, especially men, and that's why I do what I do every Friday. I just, check in, just to kind of make sure that, people have, a place, and they know that someone is looking out for, men in general. And I think Dak too, his brother, if I'm not mistaken, committed suicide a few years ago, one of his brothers.
Wow.
So
This
I
is the
know.
second one in a few months. Well, 6 month span.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things to where it's like these are things that happen every day. Men, women, like I was saying, I don't know if we talked about it on here. They were doing a trend on TikTok, like giving their dates to where they're gonna end it all, which is a suicide trend. Yeah, so it's just kind of like, those things are unfortunately a part of life we don't talk enough about, because it's not one of those things to where people feel, per se comfortable. But I think getting uncomfortable and having these conversations is exactly what we need, And again, that's part of toting that line, a part of good and evil. You have to be that individual that speaks up and stands in the middle and say, hey, good or bad, we're going to have a conversation, because we want you to know that we care enough about you to help you, when you're hurting or where you're hurting.
Right.
But you have to care enough about yourself to accept the help too. And a lot of times some people just get lost because, yeah, they want the attention, they want the help. Some people don't want the attention. Some people just want to, fade to the back and, not have anybody worry about them because they're going through a lot of mental, anguish, a lot of emotional, situations or abuse. And we don't know what he was going through personally,
Right.
through in his life, and like I said, if it's a history of mental illness or history, if it's something that's been in the family or is in the family, sometimes that gets passed down to your children.
Right.
And it shows up in ways that, people kind of just brush off to where it's serious, but they don't want to make a big deal of it. Is what I hear a lot, these days. And it could be anything, kids being kids, oh, they'll grow out of it. We like to kind of brush those things under the rug, especially in our community. A lot of times we don't think that going to therapy is going to help. And a lot of times that's the thing that we say is not going to help. That's probably the thing that's going to help the most. Going to church and prayer and all that stuff is great, but having conversations to where you're in a different settings to where people feel seen, but it makes them uncomfortable because they have to come to terms with who they are and not who they want people to see them as, and a lot of times that's pressure on people because they want people to love them and see them and respect them a certain way. And they feel like if they see them in this light, then they're not going to get that same love or respect. When that's not true. They're going to love and respect you even more for being vulnerable.
Right.
So there's strength and there's courage in being vulnerable, but A lot of people don't see it that way because nobody is speaking up and saying those things.
Right.
Now, if that was common, if that was something that was always spoke about and brought up, then yeah, more people would do it.
100%. Man, this is unfortunate. You know, prayers go out to his family. We all know that someday we all have to die. We know that, like this, you know, I think a running thing. I don't know if it's all black families, but your parents say, hey, the only thing I got to do is two things: stay black and die. And I guess to add that one thing in is pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? But no, I get it. I get it. Yeah. We all know we have to leave here, but most of us don't see this being a situation where we put ourselves in to leave early like this, in this manner. And again, prayers go out to family. I know this is a tough situation, especially if it's something that he's battled with for a long time, because who knows, some of the long nights and or days that they encountered other things like this. And we look at people who are making millions of dollars, who are professional athletes, who are actors, who are singers, and they have everything in the world, and it's things that we aspire to have, and that we want to have for ourselves pretty much. And we never know the struggle that they're going through, and that shows like that they're human, they're we're all human, and we have certain struggles that some people may not know about. And yeah, this is a tough situation. This is the second young man that took his life that we've talked about. We had damn, I forgot Kyron. I forgot his last name. From LSU. And then we have, Marshawn Kneeland, this week. It's unfortunate, man. I'll just say this, before I proceed, but if you're feeling a certain way, like, get help. Talk to somebody. And I know this is probably not your thought process in it, but there's people that love you, there's people that care about you, and from my understanding, Marshawn Kneeland had kids, and so the kids will grow up not having their father there. And guess what? We know that things could happen in life, like something else could happen, it could be taken away, but for it to end like this, the kids won't have their father. And I believe kids need their father. I mean, they need their mother, of course, but the kids need their father also. And yeah, it's just I don't really know, like it's an unfortunate situation. That's all I could say, man. Just get help, whatever that looks like to you, because I brought up counseling. And counseling doesn't have to be like the I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be the basic setup as people having, you have to talk to somebody who you don't know, and it doesn't have to always be that. You could talk to, a friend, a family member. Guess what? If you don't want somebody uh, that's unfamiliar, you could talk to a teammate. I don't know, anybody, because I think this life is not easy. There's some situations where we come across situations that are difficult, and that are, sometimes we don't know how to manage and work through those situations. And the more and more and more, stress builds up, like it's not healthy. And sometimes, like, even the best of us have a break. It's a threshold that that's you know, that things are gonna go crazy, things are gonna go bad. We all have a threshold. Some are able to, you know, deal with those things longer than others. But some of us, you know, like we all have a threshold. And yeah, I mean, I think I'll stop there because yeah, it's not good. I know Shannon Sharp kind of talked about this, and you know, him and Ocho, you know, on the show, and he was talking about his grandmother, and you know, ever since his grandmother died, you know, like he's never been the same. And honestly, you know, I'm being, you know, transparent. I don't like. I think since my uncle passed, I this was years ago. Like when I think I was like 9. I don't think I ever been the same. Like sometimes, in some instances, I feel like I've been detached from certain things. I'm like being that age, being, you know, that age and seeing death and, you know, knowing what is going on. It was a lot happening, and I wasn't able to process, you know, that stuff then. But you know, being able to process it as an adult, you know, is different. And yeah, man, I'll just leave it there. Um, Cuzzo,
Yes, sir.
any closing remarks?
Yeah, man. As always, you know, I'm definitely, you know, gracious and thankful for you putting this together, you know, getting us together and making it happen, even though we had to make adjustments last minute. We still got it done. So extreme gratitude to you for that. And and then just whatever you do, you know, I got a quote from one of my good friends. It's like, man, left, right, up, down, just keep moving, you know. And it's just like it's so many things that's going on in the world, so many things that's distracting, so many things that's against you. And that's even more of the reasons why you need to keep going and moving forward, you know, because it's a challenge. You know, if it wasn't a challenge, then life wouldn't be worth living, you know. And that's not any nod to anything else we've talked about today, but that's just my thought process and how I keep moving. You know, I'm always seeing and looking for the next thing that's challenging, you know. And I know for me, as I see those things, I have to kind of move forward and take on those challenges and stop pausing the game, you know. All right, well, we at this level now. Let's go through it. Okay, you get out, you got more lives. Let's keep hitting it. Let's keep moving forward. Can't pass this part yet. All right, I'll go all night until I pass it.
Absolutely.
That's how I used to do it. You know, if
Yeah,
I'm playing a game, even now, if I play a game, man, I'll play this game till the sun come up
yeah,
because
it's a
that's
fact.
just that's just the way that you are built. That's how we grew up. You know, we're built for the challenge. You know, so take on the challenge. You know, that's in front of you. You know, challenge yourself to learn more than what someone just tells you. You know, you hear something, somebody says something, don't allow it to emotionally trigger you. You know, kind of really figure out or find out where that person's coming from, why that person thinks that way. You know, we're not here to call people's names because if you're calling someone a name, it's just a mirror reflected at yourself. So if you call someone whatever, then you're calling yourself that because you see something in that person that you identify with. So, you know, I don't take anything personal, you know, when I have conversations with people, you know, it is what it is, you know. So as we move forward, you know, we make things, you know, as we can. So I'm excited for what we're doing, you know, episode 46. I look forward to many, many more because people starting to get the word out. People starting to catch on, you know. So yeah, we're gonna make it work. That's my
Appreciate
spiel.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, man, because I was going exactly where I was going, you know, I would, you know, just to add to, be diligent Be looking at your surroundings. Be mindful what's going on around you. There's being a change of the guard, as we say. And kind of like how we talked about, we asked Gemini, if it was the devil. It said it'll do things subtle. Things are happening subtle. There's deception. There's lies because they want you to be on their side. Whoever these people are. Be mindful of what's going on. Be looking for the truth. Be looking for what makes sense. And I'll leave you with this. As we've said before, or I've said before, I'm sure Cuzzo, I'm sure you said it along the way. But in all things, get understanding. Episode 46. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to each and everyone who's liked, who's viewed, who's commented, who's subscribed. We got another subscriber this week. Shout out to you.
Shout out.
And man, episode 46. Your two favorite cousins. We out here.